everyone, and welcome back to my channel where my neurodivergent and niche interests come to play. And today we've got it plain and simple. We are doing a favorites video. Typically in the past, these have been like hits and misses, but I do not have the time or the whatever in me to be dealing with stuff that I don't like. So for now and moving forward, this is probably just going to be talking about stuff that I do like, as the title would imply. It's also going to be a real short one because the executive dysfunction is very real with this one, and at times I feel like it is the only thing that is real, and if I don't have 1,150,000 things to talk about, and my videos aren't a half hour, 45 minutes long, it's not a video. So we're going to try working with what we've got bopping in my head and just talking about some of the stuff that I have been enjoying. And like we do, let's give a quick tribute to music. Haven't been listening to a huge amount of music, been skewing more just like YouTube content. But what I have been enjoying specifically from the band Kamelot, which is a gothic symphonic metal band, a la, I would say, Within Temptation, Nightwish, not quite Evanescence, Epica, Exandria, all over there doing all that metal and symphonic and gothic and amazing lyricalism and all that stuff. Lyricism. I went to college. And while I am not too familiar with a fair amount of their newer work, I kind of fell out of listening to them probably 2016, which is mostly when they got their new singer, which is a good singer. He's a good vocalist, a very good vocalist, but my preferred time period is the first vocalist, kind of like my preferred time period with Nightwish's Tara. But the albums I've been really loving have been specifically Epica, The Black Halo, Ghost Opera, and a little bit of Poetry for the Poisoned, which would probably be one of the most disappointing albums to me, song for song, pound for pound, and really when they started pulling away from what I enjoyed listening to, kind of like Nightwish is kind of, I still love them, but their newer stuff just doesn't really do it for me the way with Within Temptation. 99.999% of their discography resonates with my soul. Kamelot is just really one of those great groups that if you love sort of power metal, or if you just love straight up, maybe not straight up metal, again, if you like those genres of Within Temptation and Nightwish, Khan has got an amazing, beautiful voice. It is dark chocolate dipped in dark chocolate, and then with like dark chocolate sprinkles and raspberries all over the top. The man's voice is a melodious dream. I love their lyricism, their music. Part of what I really enjoy about them and what makes them stand out is they have really strong, steady verses that build up into just absolutely glorious and resplendent and very powerful choruses that just, again, you're going along and you just paw out of it. To see them in concert during their heyday just would have absolutely blown my mind. Not that I ever could have afforded them, not that they ever tour in America. That is one thing about a lot of these groups, is they notoriously tour in Europe. You want to go to Belgium, you want to go to England, you want to go to Finland, you want to go to all of those places. Although Within Temptation did, not so recently, but they did do a tour with Evanescence, which blew my gothic loving mind. Like, that's like getting two of the greats right there on stage. You know, you're just like, it's the same thing that happened when Within Temptation did their collaboration song with Tara Turunen from Nightwish. It was like, wow, just a wonderful gothic party in my panties. But back to Kamelot. They are a group that I have loved for, probably got into them when I was around 15, 16. It have been steadily and continuously listening to them. Their albums, specifically these ones, have fueled so much of my writing and my character building and sort of my identity and who I was at that time. I mean, obviously still a part of me now, but boy, did my Hot Topic loving, corset wearing, trip pant wearing Soraya live for my Kamelot. And I always have to tell people, I'm like, Kamelot, not the place, not the Broadway, not the Broadway play, the band. And if we're talking about ladies, at least, we're going to talk about one of the songs off of Poetry for the Poison with, although it being one of my least favorite albums, it has probably one of my favorite ballads they've ever done, which is a duet between Khan and Simone. I am so sorry. I don't think I've ever heard it pronounced, but the lead singer for, in the same genre, Epica, who, if you are into this genre and you haven't heard her voice, it is, you know, Amy Lee, just levels of gorgeous goddess amazingness. Women in metal, there's a reason she is one of them. She's gorgeous, she's beautiful. Their voices together just, they have a long history of doing songs together. It's just beautiful, beyond gorgeous. I've been listening to that one autistically for couple weeks now, at least once a day, driving home, twice a day, once a day, driving to and from work. And as for Epica and Black Halo, those are both two albums that I can listen to top to bottom, front to back, 100%. Love absolutely every single track on there. Ghost Opera, not as much, but there are still a few select tracks on that album that I think are just absolute perfect examples of why that band is as good as it is. Probably my favorite Kamelot song, Eden Echo, is on there. It just, I remember getting that album at Christmas, and I had my little CD player, and I had put the CD player on, put the headphones in, and obsessively listened to it for hours upon hours, just consuming every single track and disassociating into the album. Again, the Ghost Opera, not so much as a whole on an album, one of my favorites, but so many tracks on there are just really stinking good. And especially considering that one is coming off, I would say that Epica and the Black Halo are just like, I mean, obviously their stuff is big now and everything, but with Roy as their vocalist, I would say these albums, I'm partial, they're my favorite, but I would say those albums really stand out in them as their prime. Again, to have seen them in this interim, it's like being able to, you know, have seen Evanescence when Fallen was like Fallen in the Open Door were their albums, you know, that would have been just been really loving their stuff, really living the nostalgia and living the, even though I may not be living the goth alternative life in my everyday fashion and style, a lot of the symphonic gothic metal music is still exceptionally near and dear to my heart, is a big part of my writing process, my creative process, and still just, I like the music, and I'm learning to live with the fact that if I like the one thing, it doesn't have to encompass everything. And now what I really want to talk about is this thing, so that I can stop using it and use something else, because executive dysfunction, I'm like, oh, I'll make a favorites video. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So I can make this video and then do a review and put my shit in another bag, because I love this bag, but I've been carrying it for about 2 months and I'm itching to put it in something else, as a bag loving person is wont to do. But this, my lovelies, is a, I believe, maybe, possibly, potentially vintage. I am not entirely sure, as you will learn. Resellers like to slap vintage on a lot of shit, regardless of if it's actually vintage or not. So this is non-contemporary Ferragamo. And basically what this is a beautiful, amazing, glorious piece of leather. I do not have skincare on my face, but I'm sweating profusely, so I won't press my face into this bag. But it is supple. It is beautiful. It is due for a cleaning and a conditioning, and probably at some point a little bit of recoloring. As I keep saying, I will be doing a video talking about cleaning, conditioning, recoloring, and how we do that and you can do that. That is content that will be coming when the executive dysfunction is less dysfunctional. But y'all, I fucking love this thing. This is a bag that I got before y'all would have seen this fucking thing. You know, they're like not the same, but they're definitely birds of a feather flocked together. I have found that this is a style I like. I like me a big bag that I can open up and dump my shit in. I also love the subtle, this whole little ring thing is like the Ferragamo branding symbol thing. I like how it's a bit more subtle. It's all monochromatic. You have the thing like here. And just like that mulberry Bayswater, it goes back and it does this nice thing where it's like that. And you can just carry it like this and it keeps it open. Easy for people to steal your shit. I love the details of this, the like threading through here. It's got the nice little feeties on the bottom. It has this bit here, just like the mulberry Bayswater does, so that you can cinch it in more or have it out. I've got it on the, I don't know if you can see here, but on the side there, it's got the tab here. And it's just a snap, which is honestly really nice and convenient. And I've got it on the second snap. I love the interior. I think the interior is very chic. Again, I really like how this just flips and sits here. And then it still also looks nice if you're just carrying it like that. Like I often say, when it comes to bags, what I like is style and function and quality. I like a bag that is a good, solid piece of leather. We've got some nice rolled handles going on here. I like the way the patina, the way it ages. This is a bag that I know with taking care of and conditioning it and cleaning it and recoloring it, it's just going to keep weathering beautifully with age. I like it when a bag has a little bit of wear, a little bit of something, it's seen some shit. Because as I always say, the testament to a good quality bag is how well it wears and tears over time with proper care. And y'all have said that you would like to see reviews of bags, whether they're contemporary or vintage, so there will be a review of this coming up, as well as review of other contemporary bags and review of other vintage bags. I have got bags to do reviews till the cows come home, and then leave and come back again. That's a little bit morbid because this is probably cow. I'm so sorry. But I absolutely love everything about this bag. I would like to invest. When I say invest, I'm not talking about investing in, I'm buying this bag to have it and then be able to resell it later for just as much or more. No, when I say invest, I'm talking about investing in something that's going to be with me for a long period of time. I'm investing in, I'm spending a little more money and investing in it, because spending a little more money hopefully means that it'll be quality and it'll stay with me for a while. That's why we buy the nice leather. I love vintage. I love finding things that are less contemporary. I like being not like other girls. Finding just, you know, different bags from different brands and other things that aren't just the ones that you see every day. There are plenty of styles that I love. Mulberry Bayswater, that is not a new one. And everyone and their mother on the handbag subreddit knows and loves this bag. But I also like finding different and kind of more unique ones from the same brand that, you know, from the same brand, but are a little bit funky, a little bit interesting. If you'd like to see a review on this bag, definitely let me know. The Mulberry Roxanne, for anyone interested in knowing. But I absolutely love this thing. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. It is quality. It is what makes me happy. It is what I look for when I'm talking about buying secondhand vintage. Don't care about the, well, I do care about the brand. What matters to me when buying secondhand is looking for things that meet that quality hallmark and sometimes even go beyond it. Like, you know, when you're buying secondhand, you can only see so much, you can't feel it, but living for that moment of when you pull it out of the bag and you touch it and you, you know, oh, you know. Now I'll just touch on a few of the YouTubers that I've been loving. I consume a shit ton of YouTube content. So we'll just go over a couple of the ones that have kind of been vibing with the content I want to create, which is things that are talking about sustainability and things revolving around those themes. And one gal that I have been beyond loving is Theresa. Her wit and her banter and the way she is so relatable when she talks about things, because what I like in a YouTuber, especially when they're talking about consumerism and sustainability and just honestly commenting on a lot of social media and pop culture things, is when they can be objective while also acknowledging their own humanity, their own, we're all human, we're all people. And while we are advocating for, certain things, that doesn't mean that we're perfect all the time. A very satisfying level of self-reflection in her content as she breaks things down. She did a fantastic video talking about the absolute excessiveness of the beauty community YouTube collections of the 2010s. For any of you coming from my other channel, I'm looking at them right now. I've got 4 knockoff Alex IKEA drawers filled with makeup that I need to go through and confront sort of my heteronormative whateverness with that. Great video about that. Great video about TikTok consumerism. She does videos talking about the honestly the frivolity and the frightening cycle at which trends are happening and the rampant consumerism that goes hand in hand with that. She just does a lot of deep dives into certain specific things of different, social media culture. And I think that as a creator now in my 30s and looking at the content that I create and the content that I want to create, kind of looking at and critiquing social media in a more realistic way is really where I want to go with my content. Like her video essaying is sort of like what I would like to do when talking about sustainability and fast fashion and things like that. So I really enjoy viewing her content, listening to her content, as well as seeing it as something that I aspire to. And in that same vein of really talking about like excessive consumption on TikTok, Salem Tovar, who the first time I ever heard of their videos was I watched one years ago, and they did a video talking about Bright Ocular, which was a cosmetic surgery procedure of people changing their eye color. Fascinating video. I will leave that one linked down below, and all the shady practices and all the gnarliness that had to do with the company. It was a really fascinating deep dive. Highly recommend that. But now I've been loving so much, again, of her content going through. She did a video talking about the aftermath of Shein and that like really big uptick of all of those super like $1,000 Shein hauls, and like how it was this really big boom, and already it's becoming like less and less of a thing. Obviously it's a thing, but with the way cycles and trends are now, it comes up and then it's gone. It's like it comes up, rampant consumerism, XXXXX, on to the next thing. She's done a video on Temu. Again, just a great wide variety of that content that really is very critical, but not like critical in the sense of where it's really good to look at it from an objective point of view. Critical in a way that really makes you think about the greater picture and makes you think before you purchase. It really does. They bring up a lot of really good points, a lot of really good facts. Both her videos and Theresa's are very well researched and have a lot of resources that is very eye-opening, especially for someone like me who's wanting to know a lot more about being a better consumer, know a lot more about the shady business practices, and just, again, have a better mind when I am purchasing things and have a better mind when I'm thinking about my impact on the environment and the planet on a whole. Okay, one more, then I've got to cut it or else we're going to have another half hour, 45-minute long video, and I'm trying not to do that to y'all, but this is a lady who had done pretty much mostly MLM content discussing that, which is another rabbit hole that I love going down and consuming content about. I was actually part of an MLM, one of the lesser travesty ones, but I was a part of one. But Hannah Alonzo, who did a video talking about, I think it was the restock, talking about the absurdity of restock TikTok, which, again, I will leave correlating channels and videos down below. Fantastic commentary on just the over excessiveness and the unattainability that social media really portrays. Her videos, I find, are really grounding because I have a hard time looking at other people's content, their curated, beautiful, picture-perfect content, and being like, why can't I be like that? Why isn't my life always perfect and aesthetic and sunshine filtered and my sleeves are always pulled down to this far and I've got long, perfect, why am I not like that? Because it's not real. She makes so many good points. She's like, this is their job. This is what they're making this content, which is their job. They're not living like this on a day. I mean, if they are, if I lived like that on a day to day, I think that's another level of insanity. That's starting an episode of Criminal Minds up on here. There's a dead body over there in the corner while they're like, and this is my 1,000 different types of ice. She's done a video on the whole Stanley Cup craze. I just watched a video of her talking about the sad beige mom. Great commentary, great breakdowns, really just a lot of really good fresh takes. Her videos are very well done, and again, just really, really fantastic. I keep saying commentary. Take a shot every time I say commentary. Don't. Basically, every time I tell you to take a shot, every time I say something, don't do it because you will unalive so quickly. But hers is a channel that I just sort of stumbled on. I haven't listened to a lot of her MLM stuff yet. I really do need to. But the recent content that she's done talking about and critiquing, the unattainable expectations of social media and just the insane excessiveness that really has become the over-encompassing theme of our society currently, it seems, that's getting perpetuated by TikTok Shop. I swear to God, I hadn't gone on to TikTok in a while, and I went on to TikTok, and I was like, let me just see. Every 2 videos was an ad. And every time I see an ad for TikTok, it's not even an ad for TikTok anymore. It's an ad for, look what I found on TikTok Shop. And I just want to unalive myself all over the place. It's just agita. But if I ever need grounding, I really, really like her videos to remind myself. It's like, okay, I'm not lacking as a human being if my life isn't perfectly manicured and amazing. I actually like a little bit of disheveled relatability. And her content is just really, really spot on. Okay, hopefully that wasn't 50 billion bajillion whatevers. I don't know if any of y'all are enjoying this. I feel like I say this every time. I'm gonna keep creating content because doing this as a hobby is something that gives me dopamine, does make me happy, and I like that for myself here on this channel, living my best life. As always, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions on, honestly, anything I talked about in this video or anything, whatever. I like talking with y'all. I miss the camaraderie I had with y'all on my other channel. I feel like I got lost on that channel. Again, video content talking about that whole adventure at some point. For right now, I'm really happy with y'all who've come from that channel. All y'all who've come here of your own volition, not from that channel. I like talking about myself and things that interest me, and I put it onto the internet hoping that I will find other like-minded individuals. I'm sending forth my purse-loving, symphonic gothic-loving, anti-consumeristic rhetoric content-creating YouTuber self into the aether, and hopefully you will come towards my circle and become part of my coven, this part of the internet. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Bye.